All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Analyze Your Trade number 15 event. So we're going to have some great live charting analysis for you today. We have 15 sessions planned. And of course, these are for educational purposes only. Trading is not suitable for all people. And please consult a financial advisor and only trade with money you can afford to lose. All of the sessions are being recorded individually and will be available on the TimingResearch.com website, as well as the Timing Research YouTube and podcast channels. So to open the event for us today, we have Alaina Nicole back from investingbay.com and optionsbay.com. So enter your symbols for her, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Alaina.
Thank you, David. Good morning, everybody. I'm so sorry I'm under the weather today, but it's all good. Yeah, I co-founded Investing Bay, and there are some things for 2025 that I'm excited about. So I'm happy to share them with you guys. And I also have a little thing on my chart. So if you miss something, they're all listed there. But the first thing I'm looking for is the expansion of AI. So definitely going to be looking into big tech, things like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, and AMD, just for starters. Also, big data, I think is going to be big for this year as well. And that's, furthermore in big tech. So Meta, Apple, Amazon, Meta more so sooner rather than later, just with the January 19th deadline of TikTok to see what happens with that. But yesterday, Meta had a really strong open until the market kind of rolled over later on in the day. And I'm also going to be looking at like retail media. So you have like Walmart, Target, and Kroger. These guys are expanding their online presence and things like that. Inflation is also the last couple of readings we had of inflation have actually been slowly ticking back up. So I'm going to be looking at things like gold, other commodities, oil, natural gas, just because of this Arctic, whatever this Arctic blast is coming through. Natural gas has been rocking too. What else do we have? The geopolitical tensions. So I'm going to be looking at like defense manufacturers, things like that, like Lockheed, Boeing, Raytheon. There's a ton of them. Um, and also China, right? I'm going to be looking at like the Chinese stocks because the economy in China is having a rough go of it, a rough start to the year. The market, the Hang Seng took a really big hit yesterday. So all those China related stocks actually have them up here too, or a couple of them, not all of them, obviously, but there's a couple of the China stocks I've got. I'm going to be looking at the housing market, sustainability, things like Tesla. Tesla had a really rough start to the year as well, with their delivery numbers and the slowing demand for EVs. So we're going to look and see if these new models that Tesla's rolling out are going to help with that demand, because the market was very unforgiving yesterday. We also have like creator economy, short form content. Like this kind of goes back into TikTok, but you have some other players like Snap, Duolingo, and Chegg. I think those guys have really been disrupted by AI and will continue to be. Also Pinterest. Obviously, our crypto stocks, we cannot sleep on crypto because it's been on a tear. We have like Coin Riot and MicroStrategy. And then last but not least, I've been doing some research on quantum computing, and there are definitely some big challenges there, but I do think in the future there's going to be opportunity there, and the market is forward looking, so we want to position ourselves that way. But I've also got our big tech guys, Google, Microsoft, IBM, NVIDIA, BABA, and then there's an ETF, QTUM. So yeah, that's pretty much my outlook for the year. I'm very excited. And I'm happy to get into these tickers with you guys. All right, we've got STRL. And all right, I'm going to jump up to a 4 hour. I see on the daily, we're kind of clinging to this 50. I've got a couple EMAs up here. These are the exponentials, but I've also got simples depending on your trading style. I like the short term. For like shorter time frames, I do like an EMA. For longer term, I like an SMA, so I kind of interchange them throughout the day. But let's look at this. All right, I'm gonna grab Actually, one thing too I want to add is this indicator at the bottom, ATR. This kind of helps us see not only momentum, but it also shows us how often and how much our stocks can actually move. So this ATR average true range on this is 7, meaning over the last 14 days, we've moved like 7 points, 7.27 points on average in either direction. And so I do incorporate that into my charting just to kind of see when we can get somewhere and how long it could possibly take us. So I'm just gonna fit this out real quick. You can kind of see we're hanging out right here at this golden ratio. We also have a death cross on our 4 hour here, so that's not the best. But you can also see the bulls defending this 170 level. They're really putting up a fight here. So as long as we can stay above this 170 level, it's really up to the volume to see if the market wants to come back in and buy back in and push this up. I'm not familiar with this, so I don't know if there's a catalyst or anything like that to entice buyers. But if we can't do that and we have sellers step in, then we would just look to break below that 170 level and work our way back towards 160. And I'll go ahead, I'm just gonna throw an alert up here just for giggles, because if we break that, we definitely want to step back in and check and analyze the volume to see if there's some strength building there. And then OSPN, let's see, yeah, let's see. I like this gap. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up this gap. I know we've run away from it, but it's all good because maybe one day we'll come back to it. I'm gonna go ahead and trigger. Let's see. Let's trigger 1598. It looks like we've got some tweezers right on top of this gap, which is a very, very tricky situation. So we definitely want to take out that lower boundary before we get excited about that gap. So 1598 would be our trigger, and that would run us down to 1501. This stock right here has got a lower ATR, 67 cents. So typically when I fib something like this, I'm going to jump down to a lower time frame just because it's going to take this a little more time to develop. Let's check out this 1 hour. And you can already kind of see super, super choppy, but we do have a higher support for now. Let's see. And so if this was just like a stock, I'm not crazy about this for like trading just because the volume is a little wonky. But let me see. We've also got a gap up top that I want to address too. Well, there's a couple, but first things first. This one, 2465 to the high here. Looks like we got a partial fill. All right, this one's going to go 2144. Let me double check my work here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to trigger 2144 on this. And again, this has a pretty low ATR, so it could take some time for this to actually play out. But it is on the right track. It is actually on the right track. We just need some volume to come in. And they do have a dividend coming up, it looks like. So that could actually entice some buy-in as well. Let's see. Let's check out the indices and see what they're up to. And if anyone has any tickers, I'm more than happy to break them down. I see ES right here. This is definitely a head and shoulders. You can see the bulls are defending this neckline. So we haven't broken down completely. You can still see we're hanging on to this 50 as well. Let's see. It's still pretty early in the year. So I think after like big money finishes up their rebalancing, comes back from the holidays, things like that, we'll see more volume in the market. We also have, there's an inauguration coming up. We have the deadline on TikTok coming up. So we have all types of things that can shake up the table. But early in the year and really at the end of the year, we tend to see a lot of volume kind of move out of the market. So yeah, I think the market just needs a little more time to marinate. I would love to get your thoughts on ET. Let's see. Let's check it out. So you can even see here this ATR, like when it rises like this, that's strength, right? Like when that ATR is building, that's a good thing. And you can kind of see it's rolling over a little bit and we're getting lower highs. So let's see what's up with this. Our next level up is what? 1990. Where are we at? 1968. Okay, it's not unheard of. I'm gonna fib this. I'm just gonna fib this whole little move here. Kind of see where we're at. And let me flip this. All right, so there's a couple things here, right, that could go down. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a trend line too while we're here, and I'll trigger this as well. So this is actually in a bit of a range as well. You can see we bounced, buyers came back, and they're retesting this previous high. So ideally, I would want to see us take this out with some more buying volume. But if you look over here on your indicators, like our momentum is a little weak here. You can kind of see the MACD roll over, RSI is rolling over as well. And then our ATR is actually getting a little flat. So let's see. Looks like we are actually bouncing off this trend line, so I'm not mad at that. But I think this just needs a little more time. It does look like it's trying to, like they recovered this, stepped back in, and they've got it back up to this, almost back up to this resistance. So I just want to see some buyers really build up around here and see if they can send it. But it looks like that 2043 would be our next level up on the fib. Are you guys more long-term investors? Are you traders? I'm just curious. I'm like a short-term options trader, long-term investor. But if you need me to go lower on the time frames, I'm happy to. Nice. Same. I love ETFs. I love IWM. I love SPX and SPY, the Qs, DIA. Yeah, I love an ETF. I feel like SPX isn't technically an ETF. I think of it more as like a phantom ticker, but I put it in the category with those guys. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna jump back over here to finish this ES analysis real quick. All right, so if we're talking like market structure, I would definitely consider this some distribution. And we've seen this very similar. I don't know what it is about the S&P, but it really likes to head and shoulders when it's time to roll over. As you guys can see, like we've got one here, we've got one here. She's very much a creature of habit. We've got one here. I believe we had one in what 2021. We've got another one up here. So yeah, this is not, it's not unheard of, and we've had an amazing year. So I don't think it's too far out of the question for the market to cool just a little bit. But I'll go ahead and fib this out just a hair and see where we go from here. And I'm gonna keep my eye on that chat in case anybody has any other tickers they want to look at. Let's see. Amazon. Let's check it out. Did you guys see the rumor yesterday about Amazon and Lyft? I'm very intrigued to know more about this. I think the information reported it. I'm just curious to see what Amazon would do with Lyft. And I live in like a rural area, so I'm like, hopefully we can do same day delivery finally. Sorry, I'm just marking up a couple gaps. We've got a ton of gaps in here. I just like to know where they are. Because when I'm trading, like it's like they're right here in my face, So like that's what these rectangles are. All right, so Amazon does look like it's actually flagging a bit here. And it's holding the line. It's actually holding the line. So I'm going to trigger both of these upper and lower trend lines because it's getting pretty tight in there. Oh, Amazon. Okay. And then I'm also going to jump down just a hair because I really want to see what's going on. Okay. So we just rejected that upper trend line again. You guys see that? So that was like this morning. And it looks like we're pushing down. See a lot of flashing going on over here. So yeah, for now with Amazon, we just need to see which direction it picks. Inside of this range, it could be a little touch and go. I don't really like to trade in super tight ranges, just because with contracts, especially on SPX. I don't know if anyone's familiar, but time decay. So anyway, but Amazon's not as crazy as SPX, obviously, but we've got a really tight range to work with, and it's only getting tighter, right, as we move to the right. So at this point, I'm looking for opportunities off this upper trend line, heavy on selling volume, or opportunities off this lower trend line, heavy on buying volume. If you're looking to trade within this, um, outside of this, I really prefer like the breakouts and the sell-offs, things like that. So I'd more so be looking for volume on the buy side to come up this way and the sell side to come down this way. And we've got some really pretty rejections up here. If you notice, just price action wise, the rejections are really harder, like they're a lot stronger and more vertical here. Even the volume is heavier than the buying. So that's very telling. But of course, we'll never know until we pop out of this consolidation. SPY. I'm actually upset with SPY because she broke 600 and I had high hopes for her, but that's okay. Let's check out this daily. Got another Head and Shoulders. Got more gaps. And you guys, this is a really good example of what I was talking about with the volume. You guys see how the market volume kind of went off a cliff a little bit towards the end of the year. Let's see. Let's get this gap for sure. Oh, we've got a partial fill on this guy. All right, so we're sub the 50. We've got a Harami here, which is a reversal candle. The day's just getting started, so we'll know more as the day progresses, but being below that 50 is not the best idea, or I don't want to say idea, it's not the best vibe for the bulls. They like to be above that. So right now, I wouldn't really say I'm bullish or bearish. Overall, just the formation itself is a little bearish, but I would also say it's moderately neutral just because we're moving sideways. We're not really breaking down, taking out lows at this point. So it's more so range bound like a lot of these other things. All right, let me go down. I'm just gonna jump to a 1 hour. Let's look at this on a little more short-term vibe. I'll fib this out. So for the upside here, I want to get above the 50. Again, we're below the 50 and 200. So bulls, just give it a second to see if we get some buyers to step in. But if I'm looking at these last two candles, 589.54, 589.43, these two highs, they're very, very close together. Some would call this tweezers. It's like almost what, a 9 cent difference. But it's significant. It is a significant resistance. Let's see. But yeah, for upside, I would definitely want to clear this at the very least. And of course, it depends on the time frame. There could be short-term opportunities for the upside. Um, but right now, I would more so be looking for this to either go sideways. If we get some buyers that come in, we can retest this, but this looks really, really weak so far. It's pretty much just trying to hold the high, right? It's trying to like hang out around the high, but like look at this wick. Like the buyers are not feeling that trend line at all. We got a little rounding bottom here. So yeah, we can see if this wants to flag and shoot off, give us a little cup and handle energy, or if we just want to reject it, we'll see. Spaz moody. So we'll see how she's feeling. And I know actually, I don't know what our economic calendar looks like for next week. I haven't gotten that far. But we could have some additional catalysts as well to help us move. And I also want to point out, which this is kind of stating the obvious, but as we get closer to earnings season, again, we'll see some more decisive movements, I believe, in the market as well. Okay, let's do downside. This is going to be more on the short term again, but yeah, if we take out this lower trend line, then I would just be looking to come back down and retest this. And we do have a gap down here, so we do have, a reason to believe we could get here for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and trigger this too. Let's see. Let's see what our sectors are doing today. XLK. It's leading the pack, it looks like. Big tech is always leading the pack. I'm sorry, I'm biased, but I just feel like big tech really carries. I feel like it carries a lot of things. Let's see. Oh, I want to look at Foxy as well. Let's clear this up. Foxy came right back up to this trend line. I'm gonna trigger it just in case she decides to take off at some point. And what did we just get? Spy. Let's see what's up with her. Oh, we double topped. Solid. Volume still not the greatest. Let's see if it picks up on this trend line. This is really like decision time. I know a lot of times when there's like low volume in the market, you can get like a random volume spike, and a lot of traders are excitable, so they'll like enter based off of that one sporadic um, spike. But you got to remember, like when the volume's low like that, one big buy order or one big sell order can skew things, and sometimes it's not sustainable. So I like to give it like a couple, a minute or two just to see what the volume's gonna do. But this right here, it could fake. I mean, it would fake a lot of people out. We do have our double top, so we do have that confirmed. But I really want to see us break down here. I want to get below that 200 and that trend line. And here come the bulls. And that just protects you from getting faked out if you're short term. Let's see. Here's to see what this does. I'm gonna open up another. Okay, maybe not. I don't know why it looks like this. It's all good. Do you guys have any other tickers you're watching today? MHO. Let's see. All right, so we definitely have our 50 coming around the corner, like it wants to roll over. This is super bearish. You can see we had some distribution up here too. Roll over. I think we're in a gap now. We're dangerously close to it. Okay, no, we're not there yet. But we do have a gap down here. 127.20 would be the trigger for that. And then what's this ATR? ATR is 4, so I don't want to go too crazy on the fib. I like to come down a little bit. Let's see. I'm just gonna fib it like for this little last bit. And this is honestly still a lot of price action. But it doesn't have a super high ATR. So if we fib it on like a daily or, a super huge time frame, we're talking, weeks to months. I mean, to move, you know what I mean? So let's see. Looks like we've got a little bit of basing going on. We just need the buyers to hold this up. 130. Yeah, 130 is the low here. So anything below that, I'll set that as a trigger to the downside. That's a big psych level for this, it looks like, because we've been riding this for days. On the upside, let me jump down some more. Kind of see. I would really like to see this above the 50. And you can kind of see they are coming together more. You can see the 15,200 like back here, they're further apart and now they're kind of getting a little closer. But again, on this time frame, on the 30-minute, this is 1 point every 30 minutes. So this could take some time as well. But this looks like it's back in accumulation for now. If we don't break any lower, we just need some buyers to step in and push this back up. But let's see, your golden ratios are on 137, but that's like a couple points away. I just don't know. Let's see. We broke a little lower here and the buyer stepped back in. Yeah, honestly, this needs a little more time to cook. Like it's kind of the downtrend has eased up a bit. It's not as strong as it was, but it's not quite bullish yet either. But yeah, I think this one just needs to marinate just a little bit more. But even down here on the 15, you can see those EMAs getting closer together. Well, SMAs in this case. There was our little pullback. But yeah, in a situation like this, I would probably just, depending on what your time frame and like how long you're in this thing, I'll probably trigger the 200. I want to see this back above the 200, and then whatever time frame you're on, just kind of track it and make sure that it continues. But even here, like on this 4 hour, it looks a little more grim. Like it's just having a really hard time with that. And now that I'm looking at the 4 hour, it actually is looking more like, well, until the last couple days, it was like descending triangle, and then we broke down below that support, but the bulls defended it. So we'll see if what happens here. But yeah, I think this just needs more time to cook. And I do think it'll move. If this is in the housing, what is this? Yeah, I think the housing sector is going to be a big player this year. 2 minutes. Okay. These go by really fast. Yeah, any other tickers? Anybody have a last ticker they want to look at? See, there's so many gaps. Excuse me. And I will say this too, like one thing I've noticed is like when price is wedged between two gaps that are super close together, it can get really indecisive too. So just, be mindful of that and take your time. Like this year is just getting started. So like just play defense and make the market like prove something to you before you deploy your capital. I always tell my students like, it has to be obvious. If it's not obvious, just sit on your hands. But yeah, this was fun. I really enjoy the new format, David.
Yeah, thanks for being here. That's yeah, it's like the lightning round version of of the analyze your trade.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
so cool. Thank you.
um, all right.
Trying to make sure
Okay.
everybody's ready. Okay.
Few seconds left, but yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and cut it off here.